With these grim, troubling headlines about the maternity hospital. Shall I bring you some good news? Try this one on. A £28 billion green boost from Oz, as in Australian investors. Here with details of the positive news, Secretary of State for International Trade and Conservative MP, Anne-Marie Trevelyan, who joins me now. Apologies for my croaky voice, Secretary of State. Good to have you on. Give us the background to this, if you would. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, no, really exciting that we're seeing, yes, as you say, nearly £30 billion worth of Australian investors choosing to invest in the UK. And for a number of reasons, because we are leading the world in our net zero revolution. They want to invest in the new clean energies of the future and in clean infrastructure to be part of the success that the UK is leading, and also because they want to see their investments grow, and they're choosing the UK. And one of the reasons why is because we have a great, stable financial system, and the rule of law that we have here, you know, to the challenge we see in Ukraine, is one that they know will mean their investors' money, many of which is pension fund money, will be secure. So really exciting. We're going to be working with them and I think looking for more investments to help them bring their money to invest in the UK, because what we see in businesses that take inward investment is that they grow faster, they have higher productivity, and indeed the wages can be up to 20% higher. So we are very keen to encourage more who want to come and work alongside us with the Prime Minister's vision of that 10-point plan he set out 2 years ago to delivering net zero for our country and indeed to help the planet achieve the challenge.
Is this a Brexit bonus, Secretary of State?
Well, it is the ability to bring inward investment, and our own choices is a freedom that we now have. And the Prime Minister set up the Office of Investment, which is led by Lord Grimstone 2 years ago, to help us to really drive this forward and encourage, international capital to come and invest in the UK, in our fantastic businesses, our incredible people. We have some of the best skills and talented people in the world here. We're seeing the number of unicorns, these businesses that have a £1 billion value, growing at an incredible pace. The UK does have a unique
Was it
set
more
of
than
skills
Israel and Germany and France put together? I think I heard the Prime Minister say.
I think that's what the Prime Minister said yesterday. That's what the Prime Minister said yesterday. The numbers are growing at such pace because this is such a great place in the UK to develop your business and to find amazing skilled people to come and help grow these businesses. So we're very excited to see and very pleased that the Australian investors are looking to do that, and we'll be continuing in the work I'm doing at international trade, both alongside free trade agreements and helping our existing businesses to export, is to bring more inward investment in to make sure that we can grow our businesses at the pace they need to do that.
While I have the benefit of you on the line, some other stories. You'll be aware in your constituency as well, millions of people are going to be hit with the triple blow: rising national insurance, council tax, energy bills within days. We're going into April, inflation soaring. What is your advice? How do people deal with this, Secretary of State?
So we are in a really difficult time, and we are all having to. The Chancellor obviously has set out a number of ways in order to support the £9.1 billion energy package, and obviously highest cut ever in taxes on fuel, which he set out
Gordon
last
Brown
week.
would say you're leaving the most vulnerable behind, Secretary of State.
So I think looking at the changes that were brought in on universal credit to change the taper relief has added £1,000 to the most vulnerable's finances, which is great news. But we will have to continue to work alongside, and I know the Chancellor is incredibly excited on this, as we want to do things like stabilise our energy systems. Of course, one of the big drivers of inflation at the moment is this energy spike caused by the disruptions, both indeed from COVID and the close down of a lot of production over the last 2 years, and now, of course, this huge disruption because of Putin's illegal war in Ukraine.
Might more help be forthcoming for those at the very lower end of the pay scale, Secretary of State?
So, as I said, Nick, the Chancellor's already set out this change in the taper relief for universal credit, which has added £1,000, and also there is, for those who needed a £1 billion fund, household fund, which those in urgent need can go through their councils to access support, and we will continue to work very closely, as all my colleagues and I do, to hear from our constituents and to make sure that the Chancellor is cited them. But he has worked incredibly hard. He has reinstated the triple lock so that our pensioners will have the support they need as well. So we will continue to monitor it, but also to make sure that we try and stabilise the global energy systems, partly by driving forwards on the renewable energy, clean energy revolution, because in doing that in the medium term, we bring ourselves off reliance on other sources of energy, which make it more difficult to manage.
Well, come on now, let's get cracking with fracking. Isn't that the answer, Secretary of State? There's a massive amount of power underneath our very feet.
So I know that the Base Secretary is looking at that, amongst other things. That wouldn't, even if that were the way forwards, that wouldn't solve the immediate case, because that would take a number of years to get going. And I'm not sure if that is, what will be decided. I know the Prime Minister will be setting out an energy review. I think there's a really important piece as we drive through both our renewables and clean energy, as we grow our nuclear industry as well, to ensure that we can move away from gas in the medium term to the baseload being nuclear, and the Prime Minister is very keen to support that as well. But the 10-point plan, which set out more offshore wind, develops in solar, nuclear, and changing how we use our energy systems, is all going to be critical to helping us to meet that challenge.
Lastly, I understand you're a mum. When you see a headline such as "Childbirth is not safe for women in England after their appalling events in Shrewsbury," what do you say to that, Secretary of State?
Honestly, Nick, that report is heart-rendingly painful to read, and actually it reminds, I was looking at it last night, it brought back memories to me. So my eldest, who's about to be 22 and is a very healthy young man, and I'm so blessed to have him.
Absolutely.
But his birth was incredibly difficult, and I was told at the time, it took 3 days, and I was told at the time that caesarean wasn't going to be the thing, and there were those afterwards who said that was ridiculous, that absolutely is what you should have had. It was a very difficult birth. I was left very damaged. He fortunately was fine, but as I read these stories, and all credit to Don Rockington, what an incredibly difficult report to pull together, but the challenge she has set is absolutely right, 100% right. We must make sure that our maternity services across the UK are gold standard. There are some fantastic units across the country, but there are, it's clearly this one, but there are, I have no doubt, others where the focus on the safety of mother and child is not what it needs to be. And I know that Jeremy Hunt set running a lot of work during his tenure as Health Secretary on patient safety and whistleblowers being supported to actually highlight where there were problems. And we need to continue to grow that, to empower them to speak out when things aren't right. And I know that Sajid Javid has said he will make sure those that have failed these women and children will be held to account, and we will all stand right behind him that he does that.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you had that issue with your son. What's the overbearing memory of that, Anne-Marie?
What's the overbearing pain?
That's terrible.
It was a very, very long 3 days of my life. But as ever, when one is lucky enough to have a miraculous child land safely at the end of it, you deal with it all because you are so blessed, which is
Absolutely.
why reading the loss of so many lost young lives for those mothers is truly heartrending.
But this has got to be put right, because I understand you have a daughter, and we don't want the same happening as in when your daughter moves to that happy period of her life. We need this to be put right, don't we, lastly, Anne-Marie Trevelyan?
100%, Nick, and that's why we will be cheering Saj on as he finds ways to make the levers work so that we see better and gold standard maternity care across the country.
Best wishes to your children. Thank you very much indeed. Anne-Marie Trevelyan is the International Trade Secretary, appearing here on LBC. 8 o'clock news next.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 8 o'clock, the head of GCHQ believes Vladimir Putin's advisors are too afraid to tell him the truth about his faltering invasion of Ukraine.